Hello, I am Dr. Jerry Wintraub. I am on the board of directors of the North American chapter of the International Light Association. Now, I have today the honor of conducting an interview today with a really very unique individual. Look, if I were to share all the details of Jorge Alfano's journey, I believe it would take up the entire time of this interview. So just bear with me. Jorge is a musician, a composer, an ethnomusicologist, a producer, a sound therapist, and a metaphysical science minister, among the many hats he wears. His career as a studio musician and producer spans many decades. He has studied music on multiple continents and has performed with many well-known recording artists, including a recent performance with the Dalai Lama himself. At the same time as he was working on his music career, he began his own spiritual quest. He has studied many disciplines of spiritual study and worked with clients in both private and clinical sessions. His unique approach to the study of sound is a blending of everything that encompasses this man. I welcome you, Jorge, today for this interview.
Thank
Let
you,
me just open. Thank you. Let me just open by simply asking you how you see the marriage of sound and healing in your work.
That's a great question. Thank you. And I'd like to dedicate this interview, this communication to all of you to integrate what the greatness of sound is into the concepts of other sciences to discover the oneness of vibration. But this started, for me, it started 40 years ago, a long time. I was a studio musician, and I realized the gift that I had that wasn't only just to perform, but also to understand how to manipulate vibrations and to manipulate frequencies and densities, and being able to actually create something beneficial for people and see the ways of using this therapeutically. I was very interested in the marriage of trance and music, taking the basic idea that music is composed by humanoids, so humans on Earth, and but sound is from a sacred source. It's something that you can talk about it, you can try to see it scientifically, break it away, break it apart, but there is a mystery of sound that we will never going to understand with words. Yes, we're going to understand with the language of vibrational language. So that's how I manifest my intention with sound and healing.
Oh, beautiful. So why do you feel that sound can open a door for a person into their own healing? How did sound do that?
Yeah, sound, if you look at the spinal cord of any human being, you're going to discover that it's made in mathematical progressions. These mathematical progressions descend from a creative source in the way of energy, plasma, DNA, and it starts forming, as it descends, it starts forming what we know as the human body or the human outfit. And this is very easy to explain with this instrument, if you allow me.
Oh, feel free.
Yeah.
Great. I love it.
This instrument is a copy of the spinal cord on your back with the sacrum. Wow. You see it?
Fantastic.
Right. And so when I play it, I'm playing your spinal cord. And everything resonates. All the 18 sympathetic strings, they come alive. And so that means that when you are perfectly in tune with the source, I will say, which is light, spiritual light and electric light as well, everything becomes one. When you understand that, it's like when Dr. Joe Dispenza also says to go back, to what you are originally, and to gain that power back, that you can heal yourself through understanding the language of vibration. Vibration transduces on this third dimensional existence as light, but sound and many other ways. And so we have to gather all this intelligence to heal ourselves. And nobody can heal you. There is nothing outside of us that's going to heal you but the right attitude. Dr. Dispenza is actually getting to a point where people are getting healed by just thinking the right way, which is vibration. Now, we have few years to try to understand that and to demolish the barriers between science and spirituality, and to get rid of all this misinformation that they gave us in order not to become gods, And so, because going back to one means to become God. Light goes always back to one, to the one indivisible proton that you cannot devise. That's our source.
And how do you feel that so there are many in this audience who work with light and color, and
yes.
and sound is a new concept to them.
Yes.
How can we relate that to them so that they can understand how they really interconnect?
First of all, you have to get out of the way, because your conscious mind and the knowledge that you acquire is in your personality and your psychology. It's going to stop you from understanding how vibration works. You had to open that door in order to receive this intention of sound. Sound is the fastest, is even faster than light. And this is going to make a big scandal. Sound is no faster than light. Light is the sound that I call, Nada Brahma, the breath of God, is long before the electrical light that you're talking about. You're talking about these devices that have light, in order to heal your wounds and stuff. I have it. I've been practicing with it. Right. It's a beautiful thing, and I try to write music to it, to this frequency. Yeah, which is like for me, it's like an A major. That is that light. It's blue light, which helps to the molecules to start curing. I have a wound, so I put that light in the wound. I put a major in my wound, and the vibration, it gets to it. It's faster and it's stronger than anything that I experience. Why? Because I can get a tuning fork and tap it, and this will travel through my bones faster than electrical light or light created by some source that is not the pure light that we know. So you have it, vibration traveling through the bones. The vibration that travels through the bone carries the 4 elements of nature, which are in disarray in your body, because that's what creates disease, when the elements are not flowing. And so we use sound to break the blockage of that sound, but of that element that is not circulating. Mentally, psychologically, that means a lot, because people are so in their head, in their brain, because the mind doesn't inhabit in the brain. The brain is so stuck with unhealthy vibrations, unhealthy thoughts, like stagnant water, like stagnant oil. It's not running correctly. So we learned this in Polarity Therapy. Grandmaster of this is Dr. John Bilou, the creator of the tuning forks, which we love very much. He's my teacher and the teacher of hundreds of sound healers and beyond. So check him out. He's Biosonic Enterprises.
As you know, I've worked very closely with Dr. Bilou, and
yes,
and with tuning forks and with color and sound and light. You know, do you think that do you feel like sound and color are sound, color, and light are different modalities, or are they actually the same thing?
They travel on the same train. They are not the same thing. They are traveling in a field that is a field that we humans can relate through our intuition, through our nonverbal communication, through our higher instincts. It's very hard to define with our language what
Mhm.
sound, color, light does, because they are traveling in the same field of frequencies. They are different densities of frequencies. So there is a whole world of vibration, colors, and things that we don't see. Just one note. Check this out. In India, they have 108 notes.
Okay.
We only have 12. Those are 12 notes for the Western mind. What happened to the 90 something other notes? You know? Well, notes are levels of consciousness. Notes are vibrations from the denser to the highest. It doesn't mean better or worse. It's just different. So if you travel in the train of frequencies, you're gonna, if you are able to, you're gonna see colors, you're gonna see lights, you're gonna see sound, you're gonna see your mother, your father, everything. You're gonna see everything. You're gonna wake up finally to a world that's been there always for us, that belongs to our essence, not to our science or to our music. Okay? That's human. We're trying to be superhumans, and that's why we go into these things.
You know, there's a term called synesthesia, which is
Mhm.
which is to me has always been a way that Western medicine understood this joining of sound and color and seeing it.
Yes.
And do you feel like that people who really see colors when they listen to sound is really processing on a higher level?
I won't say higher. I will say different. I
Okay.
will put it in a different category. I will say musicians, we play with many times with our eyes closed, because the show that we see when we play music is fantastic. It's the most amazing combination of colors and vibrations, and that's why you want to close your eyes and play music, because you're feeling it. You feel the vibration coming to you. You see the colors, you see the next chord coming in a different hue of color. That affects your body, that affects your mind, that affects everything, your heart. After I play a concert, my blood pressure is just like an athlete, perfect. When I'm at home watching TV on the couch, my blood pressure is so high that I need to take pills for it. So something happens, but the mistake that we make is that we try to define it.
Hmm.
And that's when we make the mistake. Instead of having the experience, we try to define it. Oh, we got to call this that, and no, because this is no. Just like a musician, open up to the world of what it is. And I think if scientists and spiritual people will do that more, they will find the oneness of vibration. Yes.
So following that is, is the nature of spirit. You, you know, how does spirit, you're alluding to spirit, you're speaking of it. How does spirit, relate into this whole thing? How do we,
Yeah.
because one of the things that I find frustrating, to be honest, is that people, kind of define, this is one thing, this is another thing, this is another thing. And
Right.
I know I've heard you say that, that they're all one and the same. And
Yes.
can you elaborate on it a little bit?
Absolutely. Um, we can only define a 1% of what spirit is. Our experience of a spirit or a frequency that is higher than the dense body that we inhabit, that experience is unique in itself. If you try to use our language, we used to be manipulated to confuse us more than we already are. We can tell that there's more. We can tell, we can sense it. There is more at the end of the road. There is more. That's why we want to do this, because light pushes light. Light is always pushing forward. It doesn't go back. Light is always illuminated forward. Sound does the same thing, always pushes you, always helps you to find where you need to unblock something for the light to come in. So it's like the Drano of a spiritual life. This is why we chant mantras, and this is why we have sacred names for sacred frequencies, not only in India, South America, Japan, Patagonia, North Alaska. Everybody chants, everybody prays, because they know that sound will carry their intention. Now, it's hard to believe. Of course, it's hard to believe because we are stuck in an educational system and in a way that doesn't want this, because the smarter that I become, I may ask for things that they don't want to give me. And so we had to be aware of that, because many people that works in the scientific field, they come across that imposition. And the ones that break from the scientific field and embrace absolutely everything in nature, in every way, scientific, spiritually, they are the ones that are creating the future of the planet. So it is important. Yeah, it is.
I have a question for you. Do you think, you mentioned a little, I rattled off all those things that you do, one of being an ethnomusicologist.
Yes.
Right? And, meaning that, in my understanding, that, you're working with people with sound.
Yes.
Ultimately to take them where you want them to go.
Well, they take me. That's
Okay.
the thing.
Can you share with the audience about
absolutely
that?
Absolutely,
because I think that that's, I don't know how many ethnomusicologists there are in the audience, but they should know that this is how you would use that modality, because you're using sound to
well, an ethnomusicologist is pretty much like an anthropologist or like somebody who does excavations, like an archaeologist or anybody like that is researching what happened to sound in the past, and not only the past but also in the present, in terms of the whole world. What instruments are they using? And so I have in my studio more than 500 instruments from around the world. Really? That are, yes, and that I study and I play and investigate. I produce for Lyricord, which was the #1 world music rescuer of music for National Geographic, the Smithsonian. I was a producer for them for more than almost 20 years. And so we did a lot of records. We go and record indigenous purely like they are, because they have an amazing wealth of knowledge. They have the knowledge of how the planets move, it put into the music. The music will survive through the ages and carry the codes for different solar systems where to play each melody. In Peru, I was walking very high at about 15,000 feet, and I'm taking a break, and I see this little kid walking with the ships, an indigenous Quechua, beautiful kid, and he's peeling off a bamboo thing and carving it like this, ping, ping, ping. And he goes, and I started crying because I heard that melody 3,000 years ago, and the kid knows it by heart. How nobody knows. So this is what travels through the spirit. We have lost contact with this world that is so present. People are very afraid of the unseen, the unknown. When they close their eyes and start feeling vibrations, they start feeling more comfortable, they start feeling more, there's something about this different. When they stop their brain thinking about the same crap every day, and they all of a sudden come into this world of possibilities, it's an amazing healing situation. I seen it.
And
So,
and you also mentioned to me that you studied polarity with Dr. Joey.
yes.
And so
Yeah.
when you studied polarity, if I don't, first of all, if you could define what it is, that would be helpful.
Well, polarity was put together by Dr. Rudolf Stone, who was an amazing genius doctor that reunited East and West technologies of healing, respecting each other, coming together to see how it works from the position of the fetus in the womb and the different tonalities and the different astrological signs that is going to define how that baby is going to grow and how we can collaborate to facilitate better and better technologies for people to be better. So polarity manipulates the elements of nature through your fingers and through different movements in the body. It's a therapy that I highly recommend it. You can become a practitioner of polarity. Again, Dr. John Bilou, he is the master of the polarity that we all follow because he has it all. He knows it all. And I highly recommend it. It's a technology that you can use in yourself and others. And
are you using sound with it as well?
yes, we use tuning forks and many other sources of sound. Polarity has grown in I studied with John about 35 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and when this was not yet done, I mean, now he's putting even crystals and making things, amplifying the vibrations and finding. I found one of the original tuning fork cases that he gave me 30 years ago or something, tuned to the planets, and so he's really in tune with frequency and density. So. But coming back into the light science and how this relates, light is in everything. If you can connect with it, you have the key. You have the key to everything that happens to you. It's just a matter of peeling off all the belief systems that you swallow and they were given to you and they are obsolete. And you're going to find you are pure essence, pure light. You can heal yourself of many diseases. I won't claim anything, but I would say that the spirit has the answer that you're looking for. Maybe not in this lifetime. Maybe it's not going to be enough time for you. Maybe your outfit is already too damaged to go into that search. But you can start now to accumulate light for the next one, and it will come to you. Yeah.
And do you? But one last thing, back to the polarity piece. Do you feel like
Yes.
just because it sounded like you were saying that polarity, that the sound was almost a tool within the polarity therapy?
Oh yes, it is a big part of it. It is a big part of it. You are a facilitator. If you are a practitioner, you are conducting these sessions, and you are finding out where the trauma is allocated in the body, what element is resonating more, what element is accumulating more because it's stagnant. Like somebody like me, and boom, 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 boom. That's the earth element. Somebody like speak like this, what do you think it is? It's a combination of fire and air, and it's always talking very fast. So the elements are telling you right away where they are. And so in polarity therapy, The diagnosis is by just looking at the person and feeling their energy and allowing them to learn. It's like hypnotherapy. You learn the technology to get rid of the trauma in your personality. Your essence, which is pure light and pure, I would say, already concentrated power, is always good. The essence doesn't feel, doesn't criticize, doesn't do anything. It just exists as a pure source. And that's what you really are. The rest is outfit. Is like buying a car. If you buy an old car, probably you're going to have problems. If you have a new car, you have more time to catch up, So that's what it is. Don't take yourself like this is the only time around.
So I'm sitting here and I'm supposed to be interviewing you. I feel like I'm sitting here as a student listening to this teacher. And so I'm gonna bet that there are people in this audience who might be feeling the same thing. And so I'm gonna, we're almost done, and I want to, I don't want to put you on the spot, but my thought is like, what teaching would you like to leave us all with?
Of course, there is a science behind light. And this is going to sound a little mystical or even corny, but I don't care because at this time, who cares?
Okay.
It's called the science of love. The science of love is the pure manifestation of light. If you are a scientist working with light, your light that you're talking about, it might be electrical light produced by electrical sources. And yes, it's connected to the spiritual light, but it's not exactly the most powerful light that you're going to encounter. You can ask Tesla about this, or you can read his comments about light, and you will understand that Tesla was talking about something else. And so coming back to the lesson, I'm not a teacher. I'm a brother like you are, and I'm sharing my life through Earth, passing through Earth. And I'm telling you, the profound experience of learning the science of love, which was taken out of all the teachings, because knowing the science of love is very dangerous. You can become superhuman. You can heal yourself, others. You can live an amazing amount of time. You can regenerate matter. You can do a lot of things. But I leave it up to each of us to do more research about it. But for me, it's at the science of love level.
Beautiful. Well, I want to thank you so very much. So very much.
I thank you for the possibility, and I hope this reaches as many people and bring us together into a new age, a new level of understanding between all of us. We are all beautiful manifestations of light.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Jerry. Be well.
My friend. Bye-bye.